Let the King of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, he is my song. You are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Let the King of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, he is my song. You are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you are good, good. You're never gonna let me down. 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 You're never gonna let holding on to me, God is holding on. When the night is holding on to me, God is holding on.
There's a lot of discussion about whether we should take the Bible literally or figuratively. Or maybe we should take it figuratively and seriously, but not literally, or seriously and literally, but not figuratively. There's all sorts of mixes I guess you could end up with here. But I do know one thing. No one takes the Bible literally. And here's how I know. You have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman to desire her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better to lose one of your members than to have your whole body thrown into hell. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better to lose one of your members than to have your whole body go into hell. Even Christians who try to follow the Bible most closely, try to follow every single letter, clearly, in many cases like this one, do not take it literally. They're walking around with two eyes and two hands, right? And so then the question becomes, what on earth do we do with it? During this season of Lent, we are looking at the things that we can add into our lives or the things that we can take out in order to make room for the holy. And we're looking at this very famous teaching of Jesus known as the Sermon on the Mount, in which he a handful of times says, you have heard it said, but I say to you. Here he's subverting conventional wisdom and overturning some of the things that maybe the scriptures had even said. He's taking our bar for personal responsibility and lowering it and saying that we are all involved in this process. So here Jesus takes this Old Testament law about adultery straight out of the Ten Commandments that many, if not most of us would say are pretty reasonable. And instead he's seemingly saying that sexual sin isn't merely limited to the physical act, but there is lust and desire which seem to be just as deadly as well. So much so that you'd be better off cutting out your eye and cutting off your hand and throwing it away than refusing to deal with it. Now, again, I have to say that this is not and cannot be literally what Jesus meant to do. And so the question then is, what on earth do we do with it? What did Jesus intend to convey to his followers and instruct them to do? Now, I have to admit that I was raised in a pretty strict purity culture. And so when I run across this passage or passages like it, I get the heebie-jeebies a bit. But rather than setting up another strict rule for us to follow about how to avoid sexual sin, I think there's something more broadly applicable here. And to convey that, I want to take us back to March 2020, exactly 1 year ago. The coronavirus pandemic was just about to come upon us or just coming upon us. We were thrown into lockdown. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what we would be able to do. There was so much that was out of our control, so little that could bring us joy. And so I did find one thing that could bring me joy, even in the midst of all of that chaos: peanut M&Ms. And now I'm not talking about the small bags of peanut M&Ms, the fun size, which I don't know why they're called fun size anyways when they're this big and have only 5 M&Ms in it. No, I'm talking about the family size M&Ms. I would get them and I would immediately put them up way high above our microwave in that cabinet to make sure none of the grimy hands of our kids could get them. Those were my M&Ms. They were going to get me through these 2 to 4 weeks that we were going to spend flattening the curve. And then, of course, 2 to 4 weeks turned into 8 weeks. And 8 weeks turned into several months. And suddenly the new normal simply became normal. We adjusted. We found different rhythms. We figured out how to get through life. And yet those peanut M&Ms, they stayed. They went from being the thing that would just get me through to the thing that I couldn't say no to. I had slowly but surely lost control over the thing that was supposed to give me a little bit of control. And so one day, I had to take the peanut M&Ms out of my Target order. I learned that for me, there is no such thing as peanut M&Ms in moderation. And so rather than continuing to bring them in, I had to completely excise them from my life. I imagine we all have some things like this, things that give us control that in fact control us, things that we own that only prove to own us. And for these, Jesus offers a simple, though far from easy solution. Maybe we just cut it out. But the reason here, the reason behind this is so much greater and so much more important. And it's this: because you are better, you are more valuable than those things that are being cut out. You are a beloved child of God, created in a body to inhabit and enjoy. And while M&Ms are pretty great, you are greater. And so, yes, this is technically a message about taking things out. But in doing so, may you find not only that you have enough, but that you are enough.
Blessed are you who identify as Christian or have identified as Christian, and you find yourself wrestling with God and what you've always believed. Or you struggle to make peace with this messy, faulty religious institution. For you may be hurting and healing simultaneously and learning to spiritually navigate your world in a new way. Blessed are the closeted, hidden, misunderstood individuals whose beliefs have evolved but remain in more conservative churches because you need to keep your job, or because of family expectations, or because you don't know where else to go and it's not safe to speak up or to venture out of the world you've always known. May you have the courage to speak up and help others, or to lead and blaze a trail. God is with you. Blessed are the doubters, the questioners, the skeptics, who don't let things slide, but instead follow that gut feeling that something's off, then do the hard, loving work to dig deep and investigate and still find God at the center of the questions. May you find the answers you're looking for. And when you don't find answers, may you find peace. Blessed are those who are underrepresented, excluded, and even cast out of their churches simply for having a certain kind of body or a way of being that's misunderstood, unwelcome, or not validated by some church leadership. Women, queer folks, Black and brown children of God. You are often kept out of these spaces, and God's word is the reason why. People in power use God's name to keep themselves in power. But they've forgotten God created you. May you never again be made small by small-minded men trying to define your worth. You are an image bearer. Blessed are those who've been traumatized, abused, and neglected by church leaders. May you heal. And may you be able to separate the true God from broken people who do harm in God's name. Blessed are the torch bearers, those who know the church can and should be better and are paving the way for reformation. May you continue to shake things up, push us beyond our comfort zones, and create change through holy fire. Blessed are the peacemakers, the bridge builders, who hold uncomfortable space both for those on the right and the left and help us stay connected even when we are divided. May you continue to remind us that we belong to one another and help us find common ground. Blessed are those who have somehow kept their faith inside the walls of this church that at times feels like a sinking ship. And you're still here because you believe there's good here left to be salvaged. We need your optimism and we admire your tenacity. May you have the strength and endurance to leave the church better than you found it. And when you run out of strength, may you find rest. And blessed are those who can no longer stay, who've left the church altogether and maybe even separated from God after years of crying out, trying to make it work, and experiencing pain inflicted by the church time after time after time. We wish you well on your journey, wherever it leads. May you find divine peace, grace, and love as you move through this life outside of these walls. May we all go in peace, and God lead us in love.
As always, we're so happy that you joined us tonight. As a church, we seek to grow goodness, and so we hope that everything you see, everything you hear, everything you experience helps to cultivate the common good in your life and in our world. Now, as we go, I leave you with just two things in 1 minute, the two most important things to know this week. Number one, partner gathering. In 2 weeks, on March 21st at 5 p.m. during our normal alternative service time, rather than having a pre-recorded online service, we're going to have all of our partners, those who are committed to making the Planting Project their worshiping community, get together on Zoom to see each other in one digital room and be able to acknowledge that we're in this together and then start setting the path forward for the year ahead. 2021 is a big year, and we want you to be connected to one another and realize the mission that we have before all of us. You can follow the link below to sign up and to get the Zoom link. And number two, giving. God has blessed us with so much, and giving is an opportunity to show our appreciation for all that we have received and multiply the impact of our money. You can follow the link below to give directly to the Planting Project, whether you're connected with the Grove or just wanting to support some of the amazing ministry that we have going on. Now, as we go, may you experience reconciliation in your life, experience grace in your life, in ways that makes openings for God to fully move.